The other one talks about counting the cost before you start the building project. And I believe that God is saying to us as a house that we must count the cost for the next season that we're about to go into. Right. And that we cannot just haphazardly decide to build, but we must build understanding that when we build, it's going to cost something.
Yes, sir.
And normally the cost is something that we as people don't want to give up. Because if we wanted to give it up, then it really would not cost anything.
You're right.
There's a scripture in the Bible where David says, I would not offer that which does not cost me anything. You could give it to me, but I need to pay for it. And God is saying in this season, there is ministry on the inside of you that's going to cost you something, and you have to count the cost to make sure you're willing to pay. For he gave his life. He gave the ultimate sacrifice. He's dealt with rejection. He's dealt with abandonment. He's dealt with people saying, crucify him, spit on him. So what he is simply saying through that illustration that I just gave you is there's going to be some hard stuff that you have to go through in ministry. But you have to be willing to pay the cost if you want to build an infrastructure that's going to sustain. And here's the reality. Usually, the more it costs, the greater it is. The more value it has to the world. Now, you could build something cheap, but what value would it have to the world? You could do something comfortable, but what value would it have to the world? The greatest testimony is not just one that I showed up and it happened. The greatest testimony is I showed up and I failed. And I failed. And I stumbled and I failed. And I got back up. And I never quit until I saw it come to pass. That's the greatest testimony.